Good morning from my #1 bucket list theme park in the United States, Dollywood. Why I haven't been here yet, I really don't know. I honestly only lived 3 hours away from here when I lived in upstate South Carolina. It's amazing. I'm excited to see how this place, it's first impression, it's really beautiful. But we're gonna be heading over probably Lightning Rod first to check that out. That will be my 10th RMC I've ever been on. So big bucket list right there, big milestone. That's gonna be one of my most anticipated roller coasters of the year. So let's go check it out and the rest of this park. We just got done with Lightning Rod, our 10th RMC we've been on. What'd you think of it, Erin?
That was pretty cool. There was a lot of focus on like little airtime throughout. I liked the angles that you turned at. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a train coaster. For me personally, I think it needs to warm up a lot. So it was kind of going a little bit more with floater airtime rather than with ejector, like I know it's kind of designed for. Of course, there is no longer a launched lift hill like it used to have. So, but regardless, I think I will reserve proper judgment until later in the day once it gets warmer and it's done more cycles. But overall, it was a great ride. I did expect this, but this park is beautiful. First impressions, absolutely gorgeous. Up next is Tennessee Tornado, one of the last aero loopers ever built, and actually used, but one of the few that actually use computer-aided design for it. So it's supposed to be a lot smoother than most of the old school arrows. Let's see how this one is. Tennessee Tornado makes me a little sad seeing what Aero could be doing if they were still around nowadays. Pretty decently smooth, not glass smooth like a modern coaster is, but you know, it was built in 1999, but it was one of the few that used computer-aided design, so CAD. It was really cool how it was designed into the hill. It's one of the best Aeros I've been on. Well, I think we're gonna go over to Firechaser Express next and try out their family coaster, which this park has plenty of.
Safety information to Firechaser Express. For your safety, guess at least 30.
All right, the first of 3 family coasters here, Firechaser Express. Pretty good little ride, honestly. It's, you know, not overly intense, but it does actually pull some decent forces, and plus the backward section's super cool. You know, it's one that, especially because the height requirement is only 39 inches, all 3 other family coasters are only that high up. So it's definitely a big one to hit if you've got some young ones. Unfortunately, Sam is just not quite there mentally. He's tall enough, but he's a little afraid of something like that. So we're not gonna force him because otherwise we're gonna traumatize him for life. But let's see what else we can find in this park. So Mystery Mine, that thing is pretty sweet. It's not the smoothest coaster in the world, but I kind of heard that going in. But the theming's really cool, especially on the last lift with the fire effects and all that kind of stuff, and the dark ride section when you first drop into the mine. Really neat, and overall a pretty decent ride. I think we're gonna go over to Wildwood Grove and check out the kids area because I want to get onto like Big Bear Mountain and the other things in there. So let's go check that out. Up Up next is Dollywood's newest coaster, Big Bear Mountain, which is supposed to be one of the best family coasters in the world. Let's go check it out. All right, Big Bear Mountain, that is one of the best family coasters I've ever been on. It's quick, it's smooth, it's long, and it's got a little fun little story of you trying to find the big bear. Spoiler alert, you don't find him. That's kind of the joke here. Onboard audio is really cool. I was impressed by it. I definitely want to get another ride on that one, where maybe some of the other family rides I probably won't, but that's surprisingly one of the best rides in the park, I'd say so far. But let's see what else we're gonna do. It might be time for some barbecue and maybe some cinnamon bread, because I need to get that, see what that's all about, because it's so hyped up. So next we're gonna be heading over to Wild Eagle, but first we managed to get our lunch, and I mean, I've heard this park has amazing food. It lives up to the hype. We haven't gotten our cinnamon bread yet. That's definitely coming. But the barbecue I had was outstanding. That sliced brisket, and Aaron had a pulled pork sandwich. Aaron and Sam even had a little bit of a butterfly pretzel, which honestly, it shits all over a Mickey pretzel. It's way better, and especially because it comes with a cheese sauce. But I'm excited to try more food. But first up, let's go try a wing coaster that goes through the Smoky Mountains. All right, just got done with Wild Eagle, which was the first wing coaster in North America when it opened up. Solid ride. I think the other ones that I've been on so far, like Gatekeeper and Thunderbird, are leagues better than this one. This one is really missing that near miss element that I think, but it is really pretty setting up on the mountain. So you do definitely fit the theme where it does seem like you are an eagle flying around the mountain. So really cool. Might get another line on it later and see what the other side's like, but solid ride. I liked it. All right, so up next we're gonna go check out the train, which this one is a massive. It's a massive locomotive. It reminds me a lot of riding, for instance, the Durango Railroad up in Colorado we did a couple years ago. Just going through the mountains, beautiful setting, and it's huge. Just side note, pay attention when it leaves, because it doesn't leave regularly. It's about once an hour, so double check everything when you go.
Not bad. Let's give our engineer a big hand, bud. Mine roller coaster over there too. It's got an 84-foot drop straight down the Arctic mine shaft.
So I don't care if you're a coaster enthusiast like myself, make sure you come and enjoy the train when you are here. It is really cool. Like I mentioned before, you gotta pay attention to its departure time. We barely got on, even though we were 10 minutes early, because it was pretty full. So just make sure you get here with plenty of time to do so. But fantastic ride through the Smokies. But I think next we're gonna be going over to get some cinnamon bread finally. All right, first try with cinnamon bread. Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, that's well worth what it's hyped up for. Amazing. Up next is Thunderhead, the last of the major coasters that I need to do other than the kiddie one that's in the Wildwood Grove. But this at one point won the Golden Ticket Award for Best Wooden Coaster. So expectations, they're pretty high. Let's see how it is. just got done with Thunderhead, which is the last major coaster in the park other than the, like I mentioned, the kiddie one that we got to get on a little bit later. But Erin, what did you think of that one?
I always get very worried when the seats are comfortable on wooden roller coasters. And so I got in the seat and it was super padded and I was concerned, but that was incredibly smooth. I loved the forces as you were turning. I loved that one.
Yeah, that one, it reminds me a lot of Gold Striker at California's Great America. Very similar vibes to it. So, I don't know, great ride. I need to get another ride on it. It was a phenomenal wooden coaster. Good twister layout by GCI. Some good pops of airtime, but not quite as good what I would consider like Mystic Timbers, for instance. But great ride. All right, made our way back over to Lightning Rod to get a redemption ride. Now that it's much more warmed up, I want to see how this thing rides. Hoping it runs a little faster than it was this morning. Either way, it's gonna be a great ride. Just got my redemption ride on Lightning Rod and it is running so much faster than this morning. This morning I honestly thought it was pretty low on the RMC list. Now it's kind of in the middle to maybe upper tier. I need to get a few more rides to truly judge where it is, but the airtime was a lot more powerful than it was, especially on the wave term, the first drop, and that quad down was awesome. Oh, that was so good. Definitely gotta get a lot more rides in by the end of the day. One other note I want to emphasize is the fact that the location of Dollywood is something that's amazing. Being located in the Smoky Mountains and the national park is super close. We stayed in Gatlinburg. It's literally just on the outside barrier of the park, and it's free to enter, by the way. But so many great hikes, so many amazing things to see. What you might not know about me is I actually like national parks pretty much as much as theme parks. I've gone to many amazing places. There are so many amazing places in this country and the world. So when you come to Dollywood, don't just come for the stuff, the attraction stuff. Get out in nature and really enjoy it because it is some great stuff out there. Nearing the end of the day, we're only got a little over an hour until the park closes, and we just kind of been hitting our favorites. And Wildwood Grove is a perfect example of what this park is. It's not like this park has ultra elite rides. Some of them are really good, like Lightning Rod, but still, the entire package of what the park has to bring together makes it an elite park. This is really one of the best in the country I've been to. I love everything that they've done here. The food's amazing, the rides they do have is amazing, the theming's amazing. Overall, this place is fantastic. Let's see what we can get in the last hour or so. Hoping to get another Thunderhead and Lightning Rod rides in, but so good. I love this place. Ending the day with one last ride on Lightning Rod. This thing's awesome. All right, after getting a couple more laps on Lightning Rod, we are calling a day at our first ever visit to Dollywood. What did you think of this place?
This was cool. I am enjoying exploring theme parks with no IP because it's interesting to see how they create things and lands and rides without like a pre-existing IP. I think Dollywood did a great job at it. Was very family friendly. I loved the creativity of some of the kids rides. Black Bear Trail was one of the most creative kids rides I've ever seen. Yeah, it was a great park, great food. I had a good time here.
Yeah, I agree. For me personally, this is, I don't know where it ranks on my parks at the moment. It ranks very high. It's definitely top 10. It's in the ballpark of like Kings Island. It's a phenomenal park. The rides itself, they're very good. They're not quite elite like somewhere that you might find in another park that would be landing in my top 5, but what they do have is very good, and they've been improving a lot over the past like 15 years. So it doesn't take much to get it into that elite category, like I would say there. But everything else is incredible. The ambiance, the food, everything is good. We had fried chicken for dinner, and honestly, it was outstanding. And cinnamon bread is by far, I'm struggling to think of another theme park food that I've ever had that's as good as that. It is amazing. I had to restrain myself from getting another loaf on the way out, but it was far overdue for me coming to this park. I don't think it'll be too long before we come back again in the next couple of years. Now, I think it's time to end our trip with getting some samplers of some moonshine in downtown Gatlinburg.